Welcome back to another episode of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Haygood. It is the season to give, and there's no better way to receive right now than from Scottsdale ourselves, as Scottsdazzle is beginning this week. There are so many activities going on. Honestly, I don't have enough time to talk about everything in this episode, so we're going to be just giving you a general overview, but I'm so excited to have Jackie Contaldo. She's here at the table with me. She is the Old Town Marketing Manager for Scottsdale Tourism and Events, and she's going to talk about how her and her team have been busting their booties to make sure that Scottsdazzle is bright and shining for us. 'Tis the season to dazzle, and there's no bigger sparkle than Scottsdale as Scottsdale... Let me say that again. 'Tis the season to dazzle, and there's no bigger sparkle than Scottsdale when Scottsdazzle officially begins this week. Jackie Contaldo is the Old Town Marketing Manager for Scottsdale Tourism and Events, which is really just a long title for Scottsdale Party Planner. So when it came time to make my holiday plans, I immediately reached out to Jackie to see what's going on. So Jackie, you've been in tourism for over 15 years now. What really attracted you to work in the tourism industry?
I'm a traveler. I've been all over the world, been very blessed to have been traveling for a very young age, internationally and domestically. So I've always been drawn to tourism, and it was really nice when my personal love could kind of weave in with my professional career. And I really do understand the heart and mind of a traveler and what people enjoy.
Needs, desires, wants.
When they come to a destination, what they're seeking, So I've been excited to have had a long career with an amazing list of clients, and now most recently with the city of Scottsdale, creating experiences for people to enjoy when they come into our downtown and when they come into our city.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really important. When people travel, we all want to find that local feel. I know wherever I go, we tend to go to one big themed restaurant, and I'm always asking the server or their hostess or the manager, where do you hang out? I want to go where you go, right? Everyone can come here. Why do you think it's so important to bring that local feel to the tourist here?
People really want to live like the locals. I think that's where you find things that are off the beaten path, or things that maybe you don't hear about all the time, kind of like the secrets.
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
You kind of say, if you really want to find the places to go, ask the Lyft drivers, ask the rideshare drivers, because they're driving people to and from, and they kind of have their, their hand on the pulse of what's going on. But we try to create experiences, specifically at the city of Scottsdale and the Tourism and Events Department, that showcase our small business community. I think a lot of people get really wowed or dazzled, if you will.
I like it.
By just our unique offering from our small business community.
Yeah.
We have so many different activities and events happening within those storefronts. And it's something that you're not going to find with a big box chain or brand. So we have a very unique downtown makeup where about 98% of our small businesses, 98% of our storefronts are small businesses.
I love that.
But we're also an amazing destination for events and activities. Our weather helps.
To say the least, and we have prime weather season right now. Well, you're I feel like we'll say about half of the locals here in Scottsdale are from Chicago or Ohio, and you're one of them. So after all this traveling that you've done in your life, why did you settle here in Scottsdale?
Oh, man. We kind of have this joke in the tourism and events department, but it's we live where people vacation. And
it's lucky us, right?
You can't get better weather. There's just the sunshine all the time. I would say I would say that Scottsdale is just a really unique destination.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still got a little bit of that sprawl where it's not, sky rises and super dense. So it still is super inviting and charming. And I think it's just kept up really well. It's beautiful. We attract a lot of events here. And so there's always something to do and a place to see. I've really not tapped in, even working at the city of Scottsdale, in all the things. We were just talking about this, all the events and activities that happen. You can't possibly go to everything. And
it's crazy.
Coming from Chicago, where you have a big city and there's tons of stuff to do all the time, and it's a very dense city, I think Scottsdale offers almost that same attraction to events and activities, and our culinary scene is growing. but it's so much more spread out, and it's full of sunshine all the time, which Chicago doesn't have. So it was an easy choice.
It was, and I think you nailed it right there. It still has a small town feel to me. It is a big city. There are 250,000 people here, and it still is so warm and welcoming. Not just the weather warm, but just the people in the community that make it up. And I love that local small town feel with so much to do. And we're going to jump into everything there is to do. But I want to ask you, this couple years, like we've all been talking about, has been difficult, especially for tourism in Scottsdale. And this is what we need. Like, this is what we thrive on. How have you finally seen us get over this hump? And what have you seen with tourism in Scottsdale? Because our season's really starting to hit right now.
That's an excellent question. We were getting a little nervous there with Delta.
Yeah.
I think there's still some nervousness to be had with just where we are with the transmission rates, but we are definitely seeing people try to return to that new normal. I hate to use that over cliched phrase, but people are starting to realize that they're going to be living with this for a long time, and so they're approaching with caution, but they're still wanting to go out and wanting to do things. The weather is getting so much better, and I think this is a perfect time for people to enjoy themselves. So when we think about our Scottsdazzle calendar of events, we're mindful to keep safety top of mind. And we try to make things outside when we can, or socially distanced, or have hand sanitizers available, So we're really trying to do still what we can to make people feel safe when they're at our events. And we're going to be doing that for probably the foreseeable future. But tourism's back. I mean, we are hearing from our small business community, they are having better years than they had in 2019.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, I think there's also been a very big push for supporting small businesses, which is just near and dear to my heart because I work really closely with the small business community. And I think people really got it during COVID with all the shutdowns and the closures, just how hard these businesses have had it over the last few years. And they've come out in full force. And
love it.
Yeah, we've had really great reception from our merchants saying that this is a good year, a good recovery year for them.
Fantastic. Well, I do want to get into all the details of Scottsdazzle, but I know I'm on the easy end of this event. I just have to go. Like, I just have to enjoy all of your work. Yeah. So I know you're laughing like it's been a lot of work, Alicia. What has, because life keeps changing with new variants and you can and cannot do this, how are you? And how long has this been planning? How many times have you changed the plans? When did you finally just say, that's it, we're settled, we're not changing anymore? What have you and your team been doing over the past months? And really, when do you start planning for this large-scale event?
We start planning in April.
Oh,
so I have been thinking about the holidays since April. And I'm ready for them to be here. And I'm ready for Scottsdazzle to be out in the wild. But it's, we start every year just kind of getting our minds around what events we're going to bring back. We know we have our traditional events. So one of the events that's our signature event is our kickoff event. It's our sing-along and tree lighting ceremony.
It's okay.
It's our kickoff event. It's our It's our kickoff event. It's our sing-along and tree lighting ceremony, and it happens at the Canal Banks, the Scottsdale waterfront, on November 27th at 7 o'clock. And that's one that is just at the heart of Scottsdazzle. And we couldn't have it last year due to COVID, so we had to pivot. So we knew with things being a little different, we were going to bring that baby back. So we were definitely having that event. But then it's trying to think through what was really popular the year before, and what can we, make sure is around, because the desirability is there to continue those events. And what's interesting is last year, when we didn't have the sing-along, we had to pivot and create the Scottsdazzle Stroll, which was where the canal banks were decorated, and people could kind of walk around at their leisure and enjoy decor and music. And that was so popular because you could do it any time while Scottsdazzle was going on, that we brought it back this year.
I love
so we're going to have that, but we're going to have special Saturdays for the Scottsdazzle Stroll where there's actually live music and performances, and people can have more of an elevated experience at the stroll. But really the decor will be up at the waterfront all month long for people to enjoy. So we start thinking through what we can bring back and how we can make it better than ever. Like the sing-along and tree lighting ceremony, we're going to have a brand new 40-foot tree. So we're really excited to unveil that to the community. And then we try to think about our partnerships with our small businesses. A lot of our Scottsdazzle events are in partnership with our small business community. So we bring back fan favorites and we look at what are new and exciting events that we can bring to people, so that Scottsdazzle is always changing and people want to see what we're doing differently.
I love what you just said about like bringing things back, the stroll, just walking. I think that we have a lot to learn from what we can and cannot do this past year. And one of those things was we can still get outside and enjoy the beauty and enjoy everything. And sometimes it did help us just to slow down and stroll and admire and have fun as a family or with your friends, listening to music, seeing the beautiful decorations, just enjoying the moment. And so I think if we continue doing those things, so I love how you're going to bring simple things like that back that really make a lasting impression on you. So a brand new 40-foot tree.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 times the amount of events or something like that going on this year.
I was just saying the other day to the director of my department, I don't know how we're going to top ourselves next year because it's over 45 events this year, and it's our biggest Scottsdazzle event lineup ever. So I don't know. We're going to need to do like fireworks or get, Santa to ride over on a sleigh to make this like a bigger.
Now. You're recording. We're going to have to
worry about